Zillow's estimates are one of the most dangerous things in real estate, and I want to break down why. Are they really accurate? Are they not accurate? We're going to jump right into it. So what is a Zestimate? So Zillow has an estimate for over 100 million properties in the United States of America that they display on their website. Doesn't matter if it's on the market, off the market, they will give you an estimate of what your home or what a home is worth. Now there's a complicated algorithm behind the scenes. It takes into account tax data, past sales, other comparable properties, size, number of bathrooms they talk about as well. But let's call it like it is. It's not perfect, actually far from. It's so far from perfect that actually the former CEO of Zillow, he sold his Seattle home for 40% less than what Zillow said that it was worth. Now, if that doesn't tell you that there may be a problem, I really don't know what does, but that's a huge miss. If your own company can't get it right, you're 40% off, that's a little bit scary. And the other thing that's happened is that Zillow, over the past few years, has been purchasing a significant amount of homes, and they're utilizing their Zillow's estimate. Well, guess what? They've ceased all operations there, lost hundreds of millions of dollars because they were going by their estimate on the homes that they were purchasing, and that was a big catastrophic failure for the company, shareholders, you name it. Not a good situation overall. Personally, I had a situation as well. This was a few years ago. I had an investment property. I was looking to sell that investment property for approximately $500,000. Zillow told me that it was worth $750,000. If Zillow was right in that situation, I could have gotten 50% more for the property than what I was asking. And so either I'm really not good at this real estate thing, or Zillow is really not good at this estimating thing. But something's got to give here. Now, the reality is, there is some benefit to it. I see people who are out of town. I've seen bankers in other states, appraisers in other states, who will look at property in Florida and they'll go and they'll be able to utilize that data to give themselves a ballpark figure. And I can see where there's value in that for a potential ballpark figure, but it is far from accurate. And how do we know that? Well, we've given you a few examples already, but if we go to Zillow's own website, there's an entire page dedicated to how wrong the Zillow's estimate is. Now, I'm going to use a specific example here. They've got major metropolitan areas that they study about this, and I'm going to use St. Louis as an example. That was my hometown where I grew up. Been in Florida for 16 years at this point, but we're going to use St. Louis because that's one of the metropolitan areas that they offer as a comparison. So there are a few very important things to note. So as they're seeing how far off or how accurate they are with their Zestimate predictions, they're looking at that from what their original Zestimate was versus what the ultimate sales price of the property was and figuring out what the difference is there. So in St. Louis, only 30% of the time of an off-market property is Zillow within 5% of the final price. So 2 out of 3 times, they're not within 5% of the final price of the property. In fact, only 54% of the time are they within 10% of the ultimate sales price, and 77% of the time they're within 20%. So basically, as we're looking at that, 1 out of 4 homes in St. Louis, they're more than 20% off their Zestimate versus what the ultimate sales price is. Now, here's the thing. They actually make a tweak in the system once the property is listed. So they start to take into consideration the listing price of what an agent is saying that the home is worth, the marketed listing price. They take that into account, and that becomes a factor where they will adjust their Zestimate based on the agent's perception of the value of the property. Now, when that happens, and we're using St. Louis as an example, the number of homes that are within 5% jump from 30 to 70% when the property is listed in the MLS, that the Zestimate becomes a lot more accurate accurate when there's an agent involved and the property is listed in the MLS. So think about that. Between 30% up to 70% of the homes go at within 5% of the Zestimate when there's an agent involved. And the stats get better from there. So it goes from within 10% of the Zestimate, it goes from 54% if it's off market, all the way up to 90% if there's an agent involved. And then our last metric, if we're looking at within 20%, it goes from 77 up to 98%. So it is within 20% of the Zestimate is what the ultimate sales price is. That's really accurate. So what does this mean for us and why is this important? First of all, this is Zillow agreeing that an agent is a really important part of the process to be able to give an accurate portrayal of what your home is actually worth. They've got all kinds of raw statistics to show when the property is listed in the MLS and they make an adjustment. Here's how accurate that becomes. And why is that the case? It's not because every real estate agent out there is brilliant. It's that the agent is taking into account other factors as well that the algorithms simply cannot do. So the algorithms have no idea if the property has been remodeled, has no clue. Many times the algorithm has no idea if there's a pool or what the view is like. And there are so many other factors that go into valuing a property that an algorithm just cannot do. Now, I have access to something that is called HomeBot, and it's more accurate than Zillow's estimates. It's still an algorithm. At the end of the day, what this is it's meant to be an estimate. That's why they call it a Zestimate, but it's just going to give you a ballpark idea, and we know that it can be catastrophically wrong. So if you need that just for a quick reference, fantastic. Go for it. If you really want an accurate depiction of the home value, you're going to need to bring an agent into the picture who's going to do the further analysis and be able to give you the right recommendation of the listing price, the pricing strategy of what it's going to take in today's market to be able to make a big difference for you when you ultimately sell the property. So I'm going to put that link to the automated valuation that we have. Instead of using the Zillow's estimate, I'm going to put that below in the description. And if you like this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and here's my latest video for you as well.